Hello, hello. There is only one source of life, and that's life itself. That's God, source, consciousness, awareness, infinite being, love. There's lots of words to describe it, but all of these words point to the same thing. So if there is only one source of life, you have to ask yourself, am I alive? Yes, you are, of course. So you are this source. You are this God, this awareness. You know, we think we're the body or we think we're the mind. You know, we've grown up believing that we're this conglomeration of thoughts and beliefs, the stories of our past. And we work really hard to become the best version of ourselves, to change our mindset, to be all that we can be. Because we think we're human, we think we're this person, and we think we're separate. And we forget that we are life, that we're not the body. The body actually has no life of its own. It's got no consciousness. You know, without life, the body's just a chunk of meat. So are you the chunk of meat or are you the life? I know I'm the life and I know you're the life. I heard a beautiful exercise yesterday, and it was actually Rhonda Byrne that shared it, that I heard it from, but she'd repeated it from someone she'd heard it from. So I don't know whose exercise it was, but it was simply to close your eyes. So do this with me now. Close your eyes. This is only going to take a little while. Close your eyes and see if you can find the edge of yourself. With your eyes closed, simply search for the edge of yourself. Now, of course, you couldn't find an edge, could you? You couldn't tell where your body finished and where the space around your body, the so-called space, began. And the reason being is that you're this pure essence of life. You're this pure energy, this pure love, this pure consciousness, this pure awareness. That is the same awareness that I am, that the plant behind me is. We are the same life that's living through every living thing. We don't have any beginning and we don't have any end. And if we assume we're this body, it's a very different story. But the ultimate truth is infinite. It doesn't have a beginning and an end, and it never, ever changes. So relating this life, this essence, to who I actually am, I can sit in that search for the edge of me and feel the essence of who I am. And it's in this stillness, in this presence, with my focus on this consciousness, on this spaciousness, on this presence, on this love, that expands it, that opens me up for it to flow through. This is when I am most powerful. Now, life animates this body. This body is my vehicle to experience this physical world, this physical life, in this experience through. And everything that feels uncomfortable to the body, everything that creates any sort of discomfort, sense of struggle, anything that brings up any negativity in me is showing me where I've separated from my truth, from this all-powerful essence of life, to believe that I'm separate again. All struggle, all control, all beliefs, thoughts, and memories are all part of the separate person. They're not in truth who you are. But this God self, this all-powerful, infinite, omnipresent life that we all truly are, is only love. So anything that is less than love, that causes any sort of irritation, anger, fear, is coming from the mind. But each time a button gets pressed, in other words, when we hear something, whether it's through another person or we overhear something, or it's directed at us perhaps, or when we meet with a circumstance that feels uncomfortable, brings up old beliefs, the moment that we get emotional around it, we emotionalize that belief. We are giving that belief, that circumstance, life. Because life is all there is. Life is the energy of all things. So for me, my journey has been tuning in to this infinite awareness, life, love that I am, this God self, and being aware when anything disturbs that inner peace and brings me back into the mind and into this personal self that I used to think I was. And more, instead of being caught in these circumstances where mind is telling me perhaps that I'm not good enough, or, maybe I'm trying to control something, if instead of getting caught up in the woulds and shoulds and not good enoughs, if I can say, wow, there it goes again. Mind is playing tricks on me again. And not resist it, because resistance creates persistence. Resistance is giving your attention to it and feeding it. But just letting it be okay. Letting it be like a cloud passing by. Because when we can allow all of these past reactions, habits, old beliefs to arise and no longer give them life, no longer emotionalize them, then they fade away, just like the vapor trail from an aeroplane. You know, nobody has to get up in the sky and erase that trail. It fades by itself. So when we can actually be in presence and witness, you know, maybe we get pulled out briefly from this awareness of our wholeness, of our oneness, but we can witness it and say, there it is, and come back into presence. What we're actually doing is bringing presence to that situation and bringing harmony. Now, when I've got intense feelings in the body, maybe I've already emotionalized something, I sit in wholeness with my wrists crossed like this and dropped on my chest and my ankles crossed. Doesn't matter which one's on the top. What this is actually doing is bringing me into the whole brain state, allowing the body to communicate even when I'm in fear. And I sit with the feeling without a story. And this is bringing presence to the feeling that is in the body. So I just sit, and you can close your eyes and just tune in to the sensations. No labels, no story. And just notice and allow it to pass. And I can assure you it will pass, and it will most likely pass very quickly. You know, and I've sat with emotions and also physical sensations of pain. You know, maybe it's been a headache or something like that. And without labeling it at the time, I'll just tune into those sensations in my head or, you know, around the sinuses or wherever it may be, and bring wholeness to it. Because that balances the energy, lifts them back up, but it also brings truth to the illusion. You know, in actuality, the whole physical experience is happening inside of consciousness. It's not real. So when we sit in our truth, in wholeness, anything that's not part of that wholeness must fade. So I hope this has been helpful. But, you know, play with that little exercise I gave you, well, both exercises, but the one about, you know, being really able to sit in that space with your closed eyes and look for the edge of you, because I found that is a really simple and very quick way to bring you into awareness. And, you know, I've been coming into awareness. I've had a timer set on my phone that goes off every hour all day. I turn it off at night time. But I've been doing this now for several months. And it really has helped me come into presence and stay in presence for longer and longer periods. And when we realize who we really are, that we're not separate, that we're actually this all-powerful essence of life and love, then all of the human experiences aren't feeling so sharp. We're able to witness them, and the more we can stay in presence and witness the human experiences, the less they actually affect us. And as we can be more and more in presence, our frequency lifts higher and higher. And of course, what we're attracting is of a much different quality. So, you know, we have never, as human beings, left presence. If we did, we wouldn't be alive. So as a person, while ever you're alive, you know you're still connected to life itself. And even after the body, you're still going to be hanging around and laughing at the whole thing, that you thought you were this individual and that you were only living a temporary existence, because you're much, much, much more than that. And life is a wonderful experience, don't get me wrong. You know, I have had so many beautiful experiences and met so many beautiful people and birthed so many beautiful people. You know, I love my family and I wouldn't trade any of those experiences for anything. But now to know who I am and to be able to live life knowing that I am creating all of this, knowing that it's all a gift for me, even the uncomfortable situations, then life is much easier to navigate. Excuse me. Life is much easier to navigate and much more joyous, because we can see the joy and the God in everything. And we can laugh at some of the things that used to get us hung up. You know, life really has got a sense of humour. Big love to you all.